Surhat Satam. So I will read the shloka 3 times myself, then you can recite. Pradhanyato yanrasha amananti leelavatara purushasya bhumnaha apiyatam karna kashaya shoshan anukramishe ta iman supeshan. Pradhanyato yadrash amananti leelavataran purushasya bhumnaha apiyatam karnakashaya shoshan anukramishyeta iman supeshan. Pradhanyato yadrash amananti leelavataran purushasya bhumna apiyatam karnakashaya shoshan anukramishyeta imam supeshan. Please recite.
Pradhanyato yandrisha amananti leelavataran purushasya bhumanaha apiyatam karma kashaya shoshan anukramisheta iman supeshan.
Hare Krishna. Pradhanyato yan visheyamanananti leelavataran purushasya bhumnaha apiyatam karma kashaya shoshan anukramishya tan imam supeshan.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Pradhanyato yanisha aman anti leelavataran purushasya bhumnaha apiyatam karnakashaya soshan anukramisheta imam supeshan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So we will read the translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Narad, now I shall state one after another the transcendental incarnations of the Lord known as Leela Avatars. Hearing of their activities counteracts all fall matters accumulated in the ear. These pastimes are pleasing to hear and are to be relished. Therefore, they are in my heart. Purport. As it was said in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, one cannot be fully satisfied by hearing unless and until one is given a chance to hear the transcendental activities of the Lord. So, Brahmaji is also trying in this verse to stress the importance of narrating the transcendental pastimes of the Lord as he comes and manifests himself here on the surface of the material planets. Every living entity has a tendency to hear pleasing messages, and as such, almost every one of us is inclined to hear news and talks broadcast by radio stations. But the difficulty is that no one is satisfied at heart by hearing all those messages. The cause of such dissatisfaction is incompatibility of the messages with the innermost stratum of the living soul. This transcendental literature is especially prepared by Sri Vyasdev to give the utmost satisfaction to the people in general by narration of the activities of the Lord, as instructed by Sri Narad Muni to Sri Vyasdev. Such activities of the Lord are principally of two varieties. One concerns the mundane manifestation of the material material creative force, and the other deals with the past times in the form of different incarnations in terms of the time and place. There are innumerable incarnations of the Lord, like the waves of the river flowing constantly in and out. Less intelligent persons take more interest in the creative forces of the Lord in the material world, and being disconnected from their relationship with the Lord, they put forward many theories of the creation in the name of scientific research. The devotees of the Lord, however, know well how the creative forces work concurrently by the action and reaction of the material energy of the Lord. Therefore, they take more interest in the transcendental activities of the Lord as he incarnates himself on the surface of the material world. Srimad Bhagavatam is the history of such activities of the Lord, and the people who take interest in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam clear their hearts of accumulated mundane filth. There are 1,001 rash literature on the market, but one who has taken interest in Srimad Bhagavatam loses all interest in such filthy literature. Sri Brahmaji is thus attempting to narrate the principal incarnations of the Lord so that they may be drunk by the Narada as transcendental nectar. Om Agyan Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshura Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvai Namaha. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschatya Desh Tarine. So, this chapter, we are almost ending today, the last shloka of the chapter. And in the last few shlokas, Brahmaji actually is describing the origin of the creator, Mahavishnu. Also, we call it Karana Dakshai Vishnu, who lives in the casual ocean or Karan Sagar. So, in this, Brahmaji actually continues about the Karana Dakshai Vishnu. Well, he says that he is the first incarnation of the Supreme Lord, and he is the master of the eternal time, space, cause, and all the effects. So he is the cause of so many things. He is cause of the mind, the elements, the material ego, the modes of the nature, all three modes of nature, Sata, the passion mode of Sat, goodness, passion, and ignorance. And all our senses, he is the cause of all senses. And he is the cause of the universal form of the Lord. And he is the cause of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, which is in each and every universe. And he is the sum total of all living beings. All living beings comes from Karanodakshai Vishnu. And all these objects in this material world, the moving and non-moving, they also come from the Karanodakshai Vishnu. The demigods and other beings, both good and evil, the demons and the demigods, they may be a specific truth in form of the Lord, but they are not actually, because they are not actual form of the Lord. They are only fragmental part and parcel of the Lord. Has some the Devatas has some transcendental potency of the Lord. So this is their real position. But we should know that no powerful being, including Lord Brahma, nobody actually independent of Lord. Everyone is depending fully on the Lord. Everything happens by the will of the Lord. Everything in this material world, if you see, they actually rest on the Lord actually in this world. So the Lord himself is worshipable Lord. So Sri Prabhupada actually writing in the purport that what is the merciful reason for creating this material world? The material creation is a temporary exhibition of the Lord. And it's which energy comes? The material energy actually comes of the, and he creates this material world. And this material world, creation of this material world actually necessary because there are so many souls which do not want to live in the spiritual worlds. They want to enjoy themselves. And for them, actually, Lord created this material world so they can actually come and enjoy here. And they don't they don't want to keep any kind of relationship with the Lord, and they want to enjoy themselves. So Krishna has given them independence, to do whatever you like. That way, he all the time comes again and again, every millennium to claim them back that you please come, because we all are children of the Lord and Lord loves us. But unfortunately, we don't love him as much as he loves us. So such unwilling, conditioned souls are not allowed to enter in the liberated, in the spiritual existence. The people who want to enjoy themselves, they cannot enter into the Golok Vrindavan or Vaikuntha Loks, because their heart is not pure, and they are not willing to serve the Lord. Instead, they want to enjoy themselves. They want to become imitation God lords. So this is the problem with all the jiva souls, except the devotees, of course. They know their real position, and that I'm the servant of the Lord, and my duty is to serve. But common materialistic people, they don't understand this thing. They don't know their real position, and that's why they suffer. Even we see that devotees also suffer, but they suffer because of their previous karma. But they are accumulating lot of good activities in this material world, and ultimately, they will go to the Lord. Lord will bring them back to the Golok Vrindavan by Lord's mercy, the mercy of the spiritual master. So actually, people are misusing their independence that way, and they do not wish to serve the Lord. Therefore, they are allowed to enjoy in this material world. But this is Maya actually, or illusion. So we are the people, who are in the illusion, who lives in this material world. So this temporary creation, what Karunadaksha Vishnu made here, is the material manifestation of this material energy of the Lord. So this is all due to the material energy of the Lord. And he sent the Supreme Lord Krishna, he sends the Karunadaksha Vishnu as the magistrate deputed by the government to manage the affairs of this temporary world. So he is actually deputed here, Karunadaksha Vishnu, and he is also temporary. After the Brahma's life, then this material world will go back in the belly of Karunadaksha Vishnu, and then stay there till the Brahma's night finishes, and then again comes in the being. So after many trillions of years, then whole world appears again. So this is still, it looks to us like it's a long time, but for the Supreme Lord, it just goes much faster, because even 1 second in the Brahmalok, even, is so many yuga cycles in this material world. So we can imagine, how the time cycle goes, and Krishna actually controls the time. So thus, by creating this material world, Krishna offers all souls an immense opportunity for their self-realization. Actually, Krishna gives lot of chance. He sends a guru. He comes in the form of guru, and he teaches us, that I am not here meant to enjoy myself. I'm here for serving the Krishna. This kind of the teachings given by the guru, that I'm not this body, I am the servant of Krishna, and my job is not to enjoy but to serve Krishna. So this kind of teachings given by the guru, and we should try to understand and act accordingly. Then only if we try to keep enjoying in this material world, then Krishna will not take us back. So this thing is very important for us actually. And Krishna in this material world, like we are going to read in 3rd chapter, all the Lila avatars, so many Lila avatars are there. So, and so many pastimes of the Lord actually. And Regarding the Bhagavatam, actually, if you read, then we can see in the purport also Srila Prabhupada is putting that Leela avatars are so many, they are so numerous as the waves of the river. Like in the river, so if throw the stone, how many waves it creates. So there are so many incarnations in the different times of the Lord. So all about the Leela avatars we are reading in this chapter, just like introduction of those Leela avatars. Leela avatars are actually described in the next chapter. So in the translation, Prabhupada is writing, "O Narad, now I shall state one after other. I'm going to tell you one after other, one incarnation at a time, and so I will keep telling you about different incarnations. The transcendental incarnation of the Lord, known as Leela avatars. So Krishna comes and does different kind of Leelas, activities in this world, and so that the people in general can get attracted to those Leelas, those activities of the Lord. Because Krishna says, Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam. So whatever Krishna does, his birth and all his activities, they are Divya. They are eternal, and they are great activities, and people can hear about those activities, which counteracts all the fall matters accumulated in the years, because we are hearing all nonsense things for time immemorial, and that's why actually we have so much junk in our heart. So this has to come out. We have to cheto darpana marjana. We have to cleanse our heart. Then we can accumulate the transcendental literatures, hearing about transcendental literature. So, but first, we have to clean our heart. And how we can clean our heart? By hearing the Bhagavatam about the Leela avatars, about Krishna's birth, all these things we can hear again and again and again, because ears, can hear as much as you want. There is no limit. We can hear all 24 hours about Leelas of Krishna, and still it will not be fulfilled. Our desire will not be fulfilled. We have to be so inquisitive and so much interested in hearing these literatures. Then actually our life will be very successful. So these pastimes are pleasing to hear and are to be relished. This pastime actually should be relished, should be enjoyed as much as possible. Like in the second shloka of Bhagavatam, in the beginning, say Pivata Bhagavatam, Rasamalayam. It is just like Rasmalai, sweet Rasmalai, So we have to drink as much as we can as the nectar. This is nectar actually, the real nectar. So we have to drink as much as and we should relish it also, and also tell to others, and remember and meditate on these activities of the Lord. Therefore, they are in my heart. So those people, who relishes these things, and those people, Krishna will keep them in his heart, and he will call them back to the Golok Vrindavan if we keep hearing and keep thinking about those activities. So commentary of Sridhar Swami, actually, he explains that this text introduces upcoming description of Lord's different incarnations as they descend into this material world. So Srila Prabhupada, if he stresses the importance of hearing in his purport, actually. So Prabhupada writes in the purport that we like to hear so many junk news and so many media news, which may be false, which may be real, but they are not useful actually. How much time people waste in this, hours and hours and hours. Sometimes even in night time, I have seen people keep watching, like on the FaceTime and all those text and all these things, and waste so much of their time actually, and they are very pleasing to their heart, their ears, and that's why they keep hearing these things. But we should hear the transcendental activities of Lord instead. And so Brahmaji is trying in this verse to stress the importance of narrating the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So actually, Brahmaji came in this material world. Actually, he lives in this material world on the Brahmalok, on the top, which is topmost of this in this universe. Actually, just very close to the after Brahmalok, there is Virja river, and then the Vaikuntha planets start from there. We cannot actually make the geographical direction like that, but it is just a concept. It's not like one is above the one is above the one, and also we cannot make in the map. We cannot make that. Okay, after Brahmalok finishes, then Virja river comes, and then you can just cross the Virja river and go to spiritual world. Nobody can get entrance like that. What Lord has to permit him. Like we cannot enter into any country without the visa. Similarly, we have to have qualification to enter in the spiritual world. It's not like some mechanical rocket or something, can go there. No, nothing can go like that. He comes and manifests himself on the surface of the material planets. Every living entity has a tendency to hear pleasing messages. And what pleases the heart, those all junk messages, they all fall the fall messages, which actually stings, it doesn't help us at all. People love those kind of things. Every living entity has tendency to hear pleasing messages, and as such, almost everyone of us is inclined to hear news and talks broadcast by the radio station. When Prabhupada wrote Bhagavatam years ago, at that time there was only radio station, but now there's so much TV and all in the smartphones, people see all the news and so much media. So people waste so much of their valuable time in hearing these messages and watching small clips, and actually they waste so much of their time. Difficulty is that no one is satisfied at heart by hearing all those messages. So even they hear whole day, but people are not actually happy. They are not satisfied. What is the cause? Prabhupada is given because they are dissatisfied, because in our heart, actually inner stratum of our soul wants to hear about Krishna. So, and the messages outside we hear is completely opposite to that. So that's why we never enjoy. Our soul never enjoys this. The transcendental literature is specially prepared by Sri Vyasdev to give utmost satisfaction to the people in general. So actually Sri Vyasdev wrote Srimad Bhagavatam and described Lord Krishna's all the activities and activities of his pure devotees so nicely and so clearly, so everybody can enjoy those. But Vyasdev also wrote Bhagavatam at the maturity of his life, after writing all the other literatures, he wrote this. So, and Narad Muni also instructed Vyasdev to write Srimad Bhagavatam, which contains all the glorification of the Lord, because one time he was dissatisfied actually, and Narad Muni instructed him to write about this importance of glorifying the Lord. He explained them, because after writing all these literatures, still Vyasdev was not satisfied. So if we hear these all material literatures, how we will be satisfied? Even Vyasdev wrote the transcendental literatures, but not glorifying the Lord. Still he was not happy. He was dissatisfied. So then when Narad Muni came, then he asked that what is the cause of my dissatisfaction. So after Narad Muni knew what is the problem, so he found out two defects, and he is telling that you have wrote everything, but you wrote insufficient glorification of Lord. You didn't enough glorified the Supreme Lord's activity. You have not sufficiently described the Lord's spotless glories. That is important. Philosophy that does not satisfy the Lord's sense is worthless. Any philosophy which doesn't satisfy the Lord's senses, it is not worth actually. Then second defect, he found out that you have overemphasized the four Purusharths dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So he describes much more in the each Puran. So you have not repeatedly glorified the Supreme Lord to the extent you have described the dharma, artha. So Narad Muni is telling him that you have described a much more dharma, artha, kama, moksha, and not that much glorification of the Supreme Lord. That's why it is not good, and that's why you are not satisfied. So this is the reason of his dissatisfaction. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the history of such activities of the Lord, and people who take interest in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam clear their hearts of accumulated mundane filth. There is so much filth in the heart of most the Jiva souls, and so to remove that kind of filth, we have to hear more and more. That is the only way we can remove that dirt from our heart. So there are so many thousands of this kind of literatures in the market. But a devotee who has taken interest in Srimad Bhagavatam, he loses all interest in such filthy literatures. So actually we should try our best not to take any interest in hearing all the nonsense news and all this media news and all those things, the political news, all those interests. Actually, we should give up and hear with great interest the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Brahmaji is thus attempting to narrate the principal incarnations of the Lord. So here, Brahmaji there are so many incarnations. He cannot describe all the incarnations, but he described the main incarnation of the Lord so that they may be drunk by Narada as transcendental nectar. So he's saying that all the people of this material world can actually drink that nectar and enjoy the pastimes of the Lord. So now next we will hear in the next chapter, we will be reading all the avatars. There are so many avatars of the Lord, like Purusha avatars, Leela avatars, Guna avatars. Purusha avatars is like we already discussed a little bit about the three Purusha avatars, Karna Daksha Vishnu and Karna Vishnu, which lives in the Karana ocean, and then Garbhodaksha Vishnu, which lives in the Garbhodak ocean, and then Kshirodaksha Vishnu, which lives in the Milk ocean. So these are different places where the Purusha avatar lives, and then the Leela avatars. There are so many Leela avatars, which we will be reading one after other in the third chapter. So I will just mention few names of Leela avatars, and then we will discuss about something about hearing, actually, how, because this whole shloka is about hearing, about the pastimes of the Lord. So once we know the importance of hearing, then we can concentrate our mind in hearing all the Leela avatars, which can purify our heart, and we may be eligible to go back to Krishna. So in the list of the Leela avatars, the Kumara avatars, there are 4 Kumaras, as we know: Sanat, Sunandan, and Sanatan. So these are the 4 Kumaras, and those Kumaras went to Lord Vishnu to meet Lord Vishnu, and they were like little children, looking like a little boy. So the Jay and Vijay, which are the doorkeepers of Lord Vishnu, they won't let them go in because they were looking like little babies. Of course they were much more in age, much older than they look, but they stayed in that shape, for long time. And ultimately, Lord wanted to have Leela in this material world, so that's why he arranged this Leela this way, and that's why Jay and Vijay got like different kind of mind. They became angry. Normally Jay and Vijay, they are Dwarpals of the Supreme Lord. They should not get anger, but by Lord's Yogamaya potency, they became angry, and this whole, because Lord wanted to fight actually, and he cannot fight with other people, in material people. So he wanted to have his own Dwarpal to fight. So then those Jay and Vijay became the demons in this material world, and they took three births. In first Hiranaksh and Hiranyakashipu, in second Ravan and Kumbhakaran, and in third one Shishupal and Dantavakra. So these three, and also in the Kali Yuga, which is hidden, they came as a how they came. Those, anybody can help me? Those guys, which were fighting with they hurt Jagai Madai. So came as Jagai Madai. And so then it came like Narad Muni also is the another Lila Avatar, Lord, Varaha Avatar, Matsya Avatar, Yagna Avatar, Avatar of Nar Narayan, and Kardami, and the Avatar of Dattatreya. Datta means son of Atri. So Dattatreya, he came as the Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. They all together in one body, and he was the son of Atri Muni. Then Hayashira, then Hansa Avatar, then Prashnigarbha Avatar. Prashnigarbha Avatar actually appeared before Dhruva Maharaj appearance. Then there is Rishabdev. Rishabdev is the founder of Jain Dharma. Then Prithu was the king, great king. Then there is Narsimha Avatar. Then Kurma Avatar and Mohini Avatar. They were at the time of the Samudra Manthan. And also Lord at that time took the other avatar also, and he was holding the rod on the top, so it won't move here and there. And then Dhanvantari came also in Samudra Avatar, which is then there is Vaman Avatar, then Bhagwan Parashuram, Ramachandra, Ram Avatar, and Vyasdev also is the literal incarnation of the Lord. And Balramji and Krishna actually is also listed as avatar, because sometimes he comes himself in this material world, and sometimes he comes as the Vishnu avatar and Buddha avatar, and at the end of the Kali Yuga, Krishna will come as the Kalki avatar. There is one more avatar I forgot to mention, which is Suyagya avatar, which created the demigods and removed this material world from the distress of the demons. So these are the different list of the Leela avatars, and we are going to read in the next chapter Canto 3, in the next canto, actually, Canto 3, and all the avatars are listed very nice. So I will just a little bit, I do not know how much time left. There is still time. So we will discuss a little bit about the Leela avatars. Not Leela avatars, sorry, about hearing, how hearing is important. And only by hearing, actually, we can cleanse our heart and enjoy and drink the nectar of the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So as we know, there are 9 processes of bhakti, as described by Prahlad Maharaj, Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So the most easiest and the first prime is of the 9 processes is the Shravanam. Shravanam means hearing. We can actually see hearing Bhagavad Gita, hearing Bhagavatam, hearing all the classes of Srila Prabhupada, hearing Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's so many things to hear, so many classes of all our previous acharyas, and so there are so many literature we can hear. Nowadays, everything is available even on the smartphone. Even you don't read, you can just hear. Even while driving the car or doing some work, we can continue hearing as much as possible. Hearing means hearing about someone's activities or form or qualities or entourage and so on. So many things we can hear about Lord. As soon as there is question of hearing, we must ask what subject matter we should hear about. because we cannot hear anything, We have to hear what is the source, and source has to be authentic. We have to, and then only we should hear. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. We should hear about activities of the Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu, not about the news in the newspapers. So we have to have Brahma Jignasa actually. We have to have that kind of desire that I want to learn about the Supreme Lord. Then we can hear, we can enjoy more. So these are the statement of the Vedas. Vedas all the time say that what we have to hear, what we should not hear. In Krishna consciousness, in our moment, actually, we hear and chant about Krishna's name. Because our subject matter is Krishna, and that's the most important thing. We are not hearing about market report or price of the shares or those kind of things, share market. We are hearing about Krishna. So that's the most important thing. So in Queen Quincy's teachings, in the 19th chapter, Sri Prabhupada is writing the beginning of Krishna consciousness in the devotional service. How we begin the devotional service? By hearing. We go to temple or we go to Bhakti Vraksha, we hear some class there and about the devotional service. So that's the beginning actually of the Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness begins by hearing actually. So hearing is that important. This hearing is very important in progressing in the Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness, we can progress only by hearing. And it helps us a lot because by hearing we get knowledge about Krishna. We know how great he is. And that way we can love him more and more this way. When one links his ear to give oral reception to the transcendental vibration, there are so many vibrations in this material world. But if the vibrations are transcendental, then it can purify our heart. Otherwise, if we hear different kind of vibrations, then that will not purify our heart. So we have to make sure what we hear is actually transcendental, and they are the activities of the Lord. Then we can quickly become purified and we can cleanse our heart. Lord Chaitanya has affirmed that this hearing is very important. It cleanses the heart of all the contaminations, and contaminated soul becomes quickly purified. And they can enter, after hearing, they can enter into devotional service and they can understand Krishna consciousnness. Otherwise, people will think, oh, this is all bogus, Let me just enjoy my life, What is there, sitting at one place, 2 hours, just keep chanting, closing the eye. It's not for me. Many people think, going to temple is wasting the time. They think, they can watch the news there at home or enjoy or have some party or something, and people enjoy more those things, but they suffer so much, they can never, Krishna will never like to call them to Golok Vrindavan or a spiritual world because they are not eligible actually. Devotees are eligible, who actually hear more about Krishna and perform devotional service to Krishna. Garuda Purana also stresses about hearing a lot actually. It says that the state of conditioned soul, conditioned life in the material world is just like that of men lying unconscious have been bitten by a snake, because this material world is just like a snake, and people get so much intoxicated with this material qualities or material hearing that they are just like unconscious, lying unconscious, and they have bitten by a snake. This is because both such unconscious state can be ended by the sound of a mantra. As soon as we have Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, then he can be awoken from this state of unconsciousness. When a man is snake bitten, he does not die immediately, but first he becomes unconscious and remains in comatose state for some time, and then he dies. So anyone actually, we can compare the same thing in this material world. Anyone in this material world is also sleeping. He's ignorant of his actual self and his actual duty and his relationship with the God. People don't know that what is their relationship with the God. So this material life means that one is bitten by a snake of Maya or snake or illusion. Excuse me. And thus, without any Krishna consciousness, he is almost dead. So people living in this material world, they may be thinking that I'm enjoying, but for Krishna, they are considered as the dead men actually. They are not improving at all. And they are bitten by the snake of Maya. So if you see fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 29th chapter, verse number 40, a very important verse actually. In this verse, actually pastime of the Lord is stated by Sukadeva Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit. What he's saying, my dear king, one should stay at a place where the great acharyas, holy teachers speak about the transcendental activities of the Lord. And one should give oral reception to the nectarian river flowing from the moon-like faces of such great personalities. So that thing we have to hear from the great souls in the great dham, because we know in the dham, any dham like Vrindavan or Mayapur or Jagannath Puri, so many holy people come and give the discourses and the nectarian talks about the activities of the Supreme Lord. And if he is from the authentic source, then we should hear that and actually purify our heart. If someone eagerly continues to hear such transcendental sound, then certainly he will become free from all material hunger, thirst, and fear, and all the lamentations. So we can be free from all these things as well as illusion of this material existence. So there's so many benefits of hearing Krishna conscious literature and living in the Dham and hearing from the pure souls. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also actually recommended the process of hearing as means of self-realization. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually told so much about how we can be self-realized in this Kali Yuga. That's why he gave us the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because he knew that people want easy thing, so he has given us the easiest thing, just to hear the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. When we chant, we should be chanting that we can hear it properly. So we should hear every single day, we should hear chant and hear Krishna consciousness, and that will also purify us. Because in this material world, so it's very difficult to follow through regulatory principles and studies of Veda and sound vibration of great devotees and Acharya. That alone will give the relief from the all material contamination. So these things actually we have to hear, so we can actually get out of the relief from this material contamination. So when we hear this, so like the river water flows freely and cleans everything, similarly the nectarian river, like those which are flowing on the moon planet, will flow into our ears and cleanse our heart. So one may perform all the method of devotional service or may accept only one. Like there are 9 processes given by Srila Prahlad Maharaj. So we can follow only one process and even perfect our life, or we can follow any or all 9 processes. Like Ambarish Maharaj, he practiced all 9 processes. So that's a great thing actually. If the more we can do only one or some more, whatever our preference is, but we should actually hear enough. That's most important. We can see the Parikshit Maharaj. For example, he didn't do, when he got the curse that he will die after 1 week, in 7 days, He gave up everything and he came to the bank of Ganges and sat down at one place and heard Srimad Bhagavatam way from Sukdev Goswami. He didn't do anything except hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and see the result, He went to spiritual world. So we don't need anything else except hearing from a pure soul. And that can purify us very much. So without doing anything else, if you simply sit down in the temple and whenever there is a talk of Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, we just hear it with concentrated mind, we have to hear it purely, not like paying attention here, there, then it will not purify our heart. But if we really give utmost attention to the hearing, and then it will purify us, no doubt about that. Nothing can check the progress of bhakti. If we keep hearing, our bhakti will progress more and more. Therefore, one should simply adapt the process of hearing as recommended by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Kali Yuga. So now the question comes, whom we should hear? Who should hear? First thing is the who should hear and from whom we should hear. Those two questions. So actually we all should hear, but many times, we see many people are so much engrossed in this material world. They do not want to hear. And we cannot force anybody to hear. Because if you force, somebody, he will not pay attention, So what is the sense? So people who are qualified to hear about Lord and his devotees include those people who are impious. Even impious people can hear, but they have to be curious about the spiritual life. Like in Bhagavatam, we can read, in Bhagavad Gita, we can see those are considered as pious people actually. So pious people can hear, distress the people, inquisitive, and jnani, the wise people. They are receptive and have respect for the message of the messenger. And they want to attain life's goal. So those people should be hearing. They can hear the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And any person who is surrendered and rendering loving service to the Guru and Krishna, they should hear about the pastimes of Krishna. Even those who want a wealth, reputation, enjoyment, liberation, any of these things they want greatness, they want influence, they want power, they are also eligible to hear. For ultimately, it is Krishna who has given them all these things. Who has given anything to anybody? How person is rich, because all people work so hard. Even you see the persons, who has very little money, they work 10 times more or 100 times more than the person who is CEO, who is sitting in his chamber, nice air-conditioned chamber. So, but he earns millions and millions of dollars, and guy who is poor guy, and working so hard. So this is the thing, so it doesn't matter actually how hard you are working. Actually, we have to have desire. Hearing about him, our desire for temporary gain gradually decreases. If we actually have the real desire to hear about Supreme Lord, then our material desires slowly, definitely will go away. That's why Ravindra Prabhu all the time says that how to find out if I'm progressing in Krishna consciousness or not. So we have to ask ourselves how much I like to enjoy this material world. Because if our enjoyment for material world is still there, the desire to enjoy this material world is there, then we are not progressing actually. But if the enjoying propensity is decreasing slowly, then we should know that yes, I'm improving in my Krishna consciousness, in my sadhana. Otherwise, it's very hard. So from whom we should hear? That's also an important question, because we cannot hear anybody or everybody. So first thing, they should follow the teachings of Krishna's teaching, and must be from the bona fide this line of disciplic succession. They should be in the parampara. Anybody cannot just claim that, okay, I'm the guru now. and he's not in any parampara, not follow, and he should actually follow his guru very seriously. That what we should see, the how seriously he's following his guru and other acharyas in the disciplic succession, and how serious he is. So if we hear from that kind of person, it will be very beneficial to have. And if they have taken shelter of Krishna or not, fully surrendered souls, so, and they are completely dependent on Krishna, that these things we should see before hearing from him. It becomes clear that, like Srila Prabhupada, we can see Srila Prabhupada was completely surrendered soul. How seriously he took the order of Bhakti Siddhanta, his Guru Maharaj Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati is the life and soul. He said, go in the West and preach, And Srila Prabhupada, even at the old age, he came to US, and then he, at old, even after 70, he was working so hard, even at our young age, we cannot work so much, but he was working so much. He was translating, he was answering the letters, he was preaching to devotees, how to be a good devotee. He was opening new centers, he was writing so many books, dictating, and taking care of the BBT, which was printing books, and he was encouraging everybody in ISKCON. So we can see Srila Prabhupada's dedication to this moment, and we are seeing the results now. He worked so hard, and we can see the results now, that how so many centers are being opened, people are coming to temple, so everything is so crowded in the temples now, and so many people are enjoying Krishna consciousness. And we can see ISKCON TV and all those things, how many people are involved in helping ISKCON and taking part in the activities of the Krishna conscious activity in ISKCON. So this is all due to Srila Prabhupada. So we should glorify Srila Prabhupada as much as we can, and try to seek Srila Prabhupada's blessing. And only by his blessing we can progress and take care of all the dirt accumulated for millions and millions of lifetime in our heart. And we should hear Srila Prabhupada's classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and that way it can purify our heart, and we can ultimately attain our goal. So I will end here. I will wait for any comments or any questions. We can discuss those things now. So thank you very much. Actually, if you have desire to hear about Krishna, it's a great blessing. So we should be much more interested about hearing about Krishna's beauty, Krishna's activities, Krishna's birth. We will be really very successful in our life, and we can actually increase our sadhana day by day, slowly, but steady. It's not like one day I'm so much enthusiastic, and next day, oh my God, I don't feel like chanting. We should not be like that. We should be enthusiastic always in Krishna consciousness. Yes, in Utsaha, Nischayat, and Dhairya, these three things are very important in our life, in our sadhana, and we should use them in Krishna consciousness. All the time we should be enthusiastic, not listening, half time we are sleeping and half time we are listening, then that's not beneficial. Chanting also, chanting will be beneficial when, because otherwise, our chanting, many times my chanting is also like that, not paying so much concentration on each word and just chanting mechanically, to finish the rounds or somehow or other finish the round, So those rounds are not pure rounds, we should chant with great humility and hear it constantly, and with great love for Krishna. Then with that chanting and hearing those chantings, we can progress very nicely. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. If somebody has any question or comment, then we can discuss.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Kaivalya Prabhu. Oh,
Hare
please go ahead.
Krishna.
Mataji.
No, go ahead. I was just going to thank him for help, for motivating us to better our rounds and better our chanting. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Yeah. Hare Kaivalya Prabhu, very nice class. And what I got out of this is the simplicity of the process of hearing. Sometimes we make things very complicated in spiritual life. And when you were painting this picture of if we just simply, if we just hear, listen to nice classes on the scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, our lives can become very peaceful. I thought it was very important to hear, because oftentimes we just make things way too complicated in life.
Bhakti is very simple, actually. For simple people, is simple, but for some people, it's really very complicated. So that's, you are true. You are right. Go ahead, Prabhu.
So the question is, sometimes there's this desire, especially among, I don't know, younger devotees. Sometimes this arises where the desire to speak surpasses the desire to hear. Where one is very eager to maybe speak, but maybe not hear. I wanted to ask you, so how that should be approached, because at the same time, we need to be, Srila Prabhupada wanted us to be preachers, and oftentimes we're, instructed. And sometimes in lieu of maybe being, hearing from a fully surrendered soul, maybe a person is on the path of surrender, but yet they're, being trained to preach, so they need to speak. I just wanted to ask you, your, to comment on this, the desire to, to be overly anxious to be able to speak as opposed to hearing.
Yes, Prabhu. Hearing is very important. Of course, is we are hearing every day in the classes. How hearing is important. Last week, whole week, we are stressing on the hearing. So hearing is very important. But Srila Prabhupada has given us the duty to preach also at the same time. So in the neophyte stage, we should not preach or say, but later on, once we get more realized in Krishna consciousness, then it is our duty, actually, because otherwise how the moment will spread. So even we have desire to talk rather than hear, but we should do both things, hearing more and talking little less, because not more. But if somebody is very realized, like we see Gauranga Prabhu and the Radhesham Prabhu, and so these Prabhus actually, they have realized Krishna consciousness. They read so many books, they wrote so many books, so if they preach, every time and listen less, that's fine for them. But for a person like me, I cannot say too much, so I have to hear more and purify myself first, and then actually I can go on preaching, but yeah, whenever chance comes, we should definitely speak about Krishna, glorify him. That's also beneficial for us. So we should do both, not just one, and both are good. But first, but we have to be realized also, not just not realize they're not doing it, and just mechanically talking, that want to help the listeners. We have to be pure by our heart, and try to do the best. Nobody's pure in this material world, we all live in this material world, and I understand fully, that how we can become completely pure, but we should strive to get that purification in our heart, and try to see how much we can get purified by hearing. And we should at the same time preach also, because preaching is the duty given by Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas. Otherwise, how the people in this material world will become devotees, or hear about Krishna? So as much as we can say about Krishna to other people, but we should not never ever engage in the material topics, and the material talks, prajalpas, we should never get engaged in these things. Because once we start talking, we can talk about different things also, how is the weather and how is the events are going on, and so we should never talk about those things. But about Krishna, his glories, his pastimes, his leelas, his birth, we can definitely talk about these topics with great interest, and they are really very nectarian, and we all can relish theirs. All right, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for that answer.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone else has any comments or questions?
See any other hands up?
No, so we can end then. And Vansha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Namaha.
Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai.